What's up, everybody? This is Tyler Common here from flowershop.fm, and I'm here to talk to you about the new Fall Out Boy album, Mania. The album just came out in January of this year, 2018, and the band originally was slated to release the album in the fall of 2017, but they felt really rushed, and like the songs that they had created at the time, they weren't proud of, so they kind of regrouped, went back into the studio. It almost seemed like the album wasn't going to get finished. The band ended up writing a few new songs through the process of pushing the album back, one of them being my favorite songs on the record, Last of the Real Ones. To give you a little history on Fall Out Boy, they rose to prominence mainly with their album From Under the Cork Tree in 2005. The biggest song on that record was actually the first single, which was Sugar Going Down. Infinity on High was an album that followed up From Under the Cork Tree, which was released in 2007, which even further propelled them into the public eye and the top 40 radio, with songs like This Ain't a Scene, It's a Goddamn Arms Race, and Thanks for the Memories. But something that was interesting about that record is that when the band met with label execs about the album, hey, this ain't a scene, this is their first single from the record, and the label was like, this is the end of your career, radio, like, you guys are done. Fall Out Boy still went ahead anyways and put that song out first. It was kind of the first time where they were just like, you know what, like, we got this shit, we're gonna do it our way. They ended up being really successful, ended up being one of the biggest songs on that record. Right after that, the band put out the album Folie à Deux, which was the album that the band released right before they went on a hiatus for a few years. One of the things that I attribute to Fall Out Boy taking a hiatus was the way that Folie à Deux was received, which was very poorly, but in my personal opinion, that's their best record. The production on that record, like the songwriting, the lyrical content, it's unmatched by anything in their discography, and I think is very vastly underappreciated. So the band took some time off, and right after that, in 2013, when they came back, they released the album Save Rock and Roll as a really poppy record, super produced. The songs were still really great, and kind of ushered in a whole new era of fans for Fall Out Boy. A lot of younger people were hearing Fall Out Boy for the first time with Save Rock and Roll. American Beauty, American Psycho, which was their sixth record, the songs were much of the same format, a lot of very commercial radio songs, and becoming further more a pop band as opposed to their alternative pop-punk roots. Which leads us to their new album, Mania. I expect to not like this record, personally. This record is a lot more poppy than anything they've ever done, which is what they've kind of been leaning towards and gearing towards for the past couple records. So if you're expecting a sequel to Folie à Deux, or From Under the Cork Tree, or Infinity on High, or even Take This to Your Grave, you're not going to find it with this record. And if you come in with that mindset, you're going to be disappointed. And that's where a lot of fans of theirs kind of lose interest. Say, Fall Out Boy sold out, maybe they're just not for you, you don't really get their vision. That's okay, you don't have to like everything that they do. The first single from this record they released, I think it was May of 2017, was Young and Menace. Young and Menace is by far the weirdest song in their discography. It's got like all these EDM elements to it. There's like this really high-pitched vocal that goes over Patrick's voice. I don't know. When I first heard it, I didn't really know how to feel. The band had performed it on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon. Patrick is carrying all of the vocal parts with himself because no one else in Fall Out Boy, except for Joe a little bit, can really sing. So translating live, it didn't really translate well, in my opinion. The thing that was most interesting about Young and Menace is that it was the first lead single from a Fall Out Boy record that didn't chart on the Billboard Hot 100 since Sugar Were Going Down. So more than 10 years of Fall Out Boy's first single from a new record, always charting on the radio. Like, this was the first one that the public eye was just like, nope, I don't like it. The first song on the record, Stay Frosty Royal Milk Tea. Get that straight. Stay Frosty Royal Milk Tea. Kind of starts off with a bang, but the weirdest line in the whole song just feels really uncomfortable, especially if you want to sing along to their music. It's, are you smelling that shit? Are you smelling that shit? And then there's a French phrase that comes right after it. Like, how do you even say that? I don't even know. That line, are you smelling that shit, is repeated 8 times throughout this song. Otherwise, the song is great, but that part of the song just makes it super awkward. I kept listening anyways because this band could sing the newspaper and I'm still going to probably listen to it. After that track is possibly like the most Fall Out Boy song on the record. What I mean by that is that it's called The Last of the Real Ones. This song was worked on with a guy named Il Angelo. He's formerly known as being a big collaborator with The Weeknd, and he was playing this piano loop. Patrick ended up writing some cool guitar riffs, and Pete Wentz did whatever he does. The Last of the Real Ones, which ended up being received really well by fans, and I really love that song. I think it's one of the best songs on this record. The next song on the record is Hold Me Tight or Don't. I think that this song makes a lot of sense in the record. When you're listening to the record, it really flows, and it doesn't sound awkward in the track listing. I wouldn't really choose it as a song to really define the record. It's kind of just like an album track for me. Wilson, Expensive Mistakes, is track 4. This song is great. It really shines for Patrick. Patrick's voice is better than ever. Because with American Beauty, American Psycho, there was a couple of songs I listened to on that record where I was like, is Patrick losing it? Like, his vocal ability sounds like it's strained. Like, I imagine that all these years of playing Fall Out Boy songs, and even back to when he was doing soul punk, that he could have strained his voice. But that wasn't the case, clearly, because this song is back to his full range, I think so. One of the best songs on the record. They released a music video for it as well. This band is known for releasing music videos, actually. Tons of music videos. But the video for this song features like this weird infomercial, and the band are all selling themselves and different like services. You have to go watch it. The next two songs on the record have a really similar theme. Just by knowing the names of the songs, they have a really religious undertone. Songs are called Church and Heaven's Gate. When you listen to it, the main lyric in the chorus that the song is kind of built on is, if you were a church, I'd get on my knees. Where Patrick is kind of just willing to do anything for this person to be what they need and be there for them, do whatever they can to make everything work in their relationship or their friendship or whatever he's talking about. We don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Do you know? I don't. The next song is Heaven's Gate, and this song starts off with like almost like a doo-wop feel. It's got like a really like piano-driven thing at the beginning of the song, almost like a Motown feel almost. But when the song kind of gets going, it's back to that same old Fall Out Boy like shtick that they're always been doing for the past like 3 records. There's a line in the song that sounds kind of awkward because of the way Patrick enunciates the words. The words are, give me a boost, give me a boost. And he keeps repeating, give me a boost, give me a boost, give me a boost. This leads us to Champion. The biggest thing I can say about this song is that it sounds like an ESPN highlight reel. NBA, the NFL, whatever the hell you're watching. It sounds like it could be played in any sort of sport montage. And Fall Out Boy would get a large amount of money for that because that's what those songs are written for. Champion just kind of falls flat for me. It's not a bad song. It's just like their Japanese B-side. The most interesting song on the whole record, other than Young and Menace, obviously, which we talked about before, is Sunshine Riptide. Sunshine Riptide features a Nigerian hip-hop artist from Nigeria called Burna Boy, and the band had reached out to him originally, and he was kind of like not convinced that it was Fall Out Boy. He's like, you guys are messing with me, this isn't you. Wasn't convinced that Fall Out Boy was actually contacting him to be on one of their songs. I like the idea of it. Like, in theory, it could work, but when you hear the song, the chorus is super catchy. The lyrics are, I'm stuck in the sunshine riptide, and they keep repeating it, and like it's something that gets stuck in your head. It comes to Burna Boy's part, and it just sounds like he has marshmallows in his mouth when he's singing the song. And he's just kind of on the song to be on the song. Whenever there's like a Maroon 5 song, and Kendrick Lamar is singing on it. He's on the song because he's Kendrick Lamar. Overall, the song is good, but that part is super awkward. Burna Boy is a great artist on his own, but I think that Fall Out Boy and Burna Boy together don't necessarily work the way that they wanted it to. The most confusing part of the whole record is Young and Menace, for a number of reasons. When the album was released to streaming services, the first track on the record was listed as Young and Menace, and most of the songs are kind of out of order. They're a little bit in the area that they should be, but as someone that doesn't listen to Fall Out Boy, or someone that wants to like check out the record for the first time, if that's the first song that I'm hearing, I'm already having a bad taste in my mouth. I don't think that song is going to bring in new listeners. I don't really think that fans of Fall Out Boy are going to fall in love with that song. Maybe they'll like it a little bit. I don't think that it's going to really benefit Fall Out Boy in any way. They wanted to try something different and experiment with new sounds, and they did that, and they accomplished that. Even when they performed the song live, Patrick actually started playing the song on piano solo by himself on the first Mania tour. I think it sounds a lot better without Patrick trying to sing every single vocal part in the song, because nobody else in Fall Out Boy can really sing, especially to the caliber that Patrick can sing, which has always been one of their downfalls in their live performance. Overall, Young and Menace, definitely the one track on this record that I would skip. It's a really big weak point, I think. It's something that doesn't really make sense with Fall Out Boy's discography as a whole. Even like this new era of Fall Out Boy that's kind of existed in the past 5 years since Save Rock and Roll came out. Probably the worst song that they've ever put out, in my opinion. The last track on the record, Bishop's Knife Trick, is actually a really great song. A lot of really relatable lyrics. It's got a really kind of somber tone, but the thing that is most frustrating is that it's kind of an afterthought after you listen to Young and Menace, because after you listen to Young and Menace, this huge, like, bombastic, weird song with, like, EDM elements, all the stuff I just talked about. It's really hard to, like, kind of listen to this song and without really thinking about, like, what just happened before this track. But if you listen to the song by itself, one of the best songs in the album, it really stands tall, I think, especially with Patrick's vocal abilities. Again, they're really shining this song. Patrick keeps repeating the words, the last, the last, the last. This record has been a really big improvement for Patrick's voice. The last, the last. Especially since I believe there was a lot of lackluster performance on American Beauty, American Psycho. The last, the last. Because that record was produced so quickly and what seemed like it was produced on the road. The last, the last. The lyric that really sticks with me from this song is, these are the last blues we're ever going to have. And then Patrick repeats this one part of the song over and over again, almost like yelping. The last, the last. Keeps going and going and going, and otherwise, I really love the song, but that part of the song, almost hard to get past. For someone that's been listening to Fall Out Boy for more than 10 years, Mania is definitely not something I would have ever expected them to release. If you look at Fall Out Boy expecting something that's going to put them on Warped Tour again, you're never going to find that, especially with Mania. They become a full pop band. They're a pop band now. Pete Wentz has talked about in interviews how they can't please everyone, that their music only really serves to keep them happy, and like if they're not creating things that they like, then what's the point of being in Fall Out Boy at all? The best way to look at Mania is if Fall Out Boy is a new band, because they really have been a new band for the past 5 years now, and the people that don't get that through their head continually be disappointed and continually not like Fall Out Boy's music. But for what it is, it's not a bad record. I think this record is a big step up from American Beauty, American Psycho, but they're still Fall Out Boy, they're still making music, and I think that that's really incredible. And that concludes my review of Fall Out Boy's new album, Mania. What did you think of the record? Did you hate it? Did you like it? Let me know what you thought. Put it in the comments below. Thank you for watching flowershop.fm. I'm Tyler Common, and hope to see you again soon.